Hello and welcome to the TC Exchange podcast. I'm Amity Krause, ex-retail girl turned realtor turned business owner, where I teach new transaction coordinators how to navigate the complex real estate industry and coach experienced TCs how to level up their game and businesses to add even more value to their agents. Come along with me while I guide you through this intense, complicated, but always fun world of transaction coordination. Welcome back to the TC Exchange podcast. I'm Amity Krause, your host and guide through the multifaceted world of transaction coordination. In this second episode of our special series, David Breckheimer and I are continuing our exploration of key questions that are vital to understanding the role and potential of transaction coordinators. Today, we delve into a question that is particularly relevant in the ever-fluctuating real estate market. As a real estate agent, can I supplement my income in the slow market by becoming a TC? This is a question that resonates with many in our industry, especially in times when the market isn't as robust as we would like it to be. To provide you with well-rounded insights, again, we've gathered the thoughts and experiences from various industry professionals. These experts, who have navigated both the roles of real estate agents and TCs, will offer their unique perspectives on balancing these roles, the synergies and challenges involved, and how to make the most of your skills in both arenas. Whether you're a real estate agent considering diversification into transaction coordination or a TC curious about the relationship between these two critical roles, this episode is designed to provide you with valuable knowledge and actionable strategies. So let's dive in and uncover the possibilities, advantages, and considerations of supplementing your income as a real estate agent by embracing the role of a transaction coordinator, especially in slower market periods. Join me on this informative journey as we seek to empower and enlighten our TC community. Stay tuned.
All right, second question. We seem to be seeing a number of real estate agents that have considered starting their own TC company to help supplement their income while the market is going through a shift. And it's been hard to generate business and income as an agent. Now, I'm going to be real blunt about this particular question. I see a lot of this in the group. But part of this question has quotation marks around it because I actually took that quote from agents that email me directly that are almost embarrassed to show up asking that question in public. And so they ask it personal. And the quotation part was about starting their own TC company to help supplement their income while the market is going through a shift. They all use the word shift, and it's been hard to generate business and income as an agent. What would you want to say about that? What could you share? What insight, what feelings do you have around that topic?
That's a loaded one, and another one that we could probably spend years on. What I would say is, I don't think this is a place that an agent could easily supplement their income. And here's the reason why.
Okay.
If you're good at the TC side of it, that's probably the place for you. Let me see if I can phrase this maybe in a little better way. If the sales part isn't your thing, you might be really good at the TC thing. So this could be a way for you to see like, oh, wow, this is the part of real estate that I like. So I think that it's a worthwhile endeavor to look at it as a possible industry change. But some people, I think one of the common questions I get around this one is, I didn't like selling.
Yes.
Or I didn't like sales. Yes. Or I didn't like marketing. And people think that being a TC means they don't have to do that. And I got another thing to tell you. There's a lot of that has to happen. Now, it doesn't have to be the kind of selling that makes you feel like, I need to shower after I had a phone call because I got to wash all that ickiness off. You can do it your way, but have a look at why your real estate business is slow before you look at this, I think, as an opportunity for extra income.
Yes.
Now, the flip side of that is that maybe there's an agent in their office who could use a little bit of help, but they could also mentor them and help them create a better real estate business. I don't know, talk to their broker. Kind of getting off track there. I think the last thing I would say about this is that if they're an agent, like thinking like as an agent for them, and somebody in their business, in their community said, "Hey, David, I'm doing this other thing. Would you do business with me?" It might be a little hard for the agent for you to want to let me do TC work for you if like we're competitors, even though some market centers say no, or offices say we're not, there are no competition. We know that there's this fear that agents have, like I may take your client or any of that. So it's a really long, rambly answer to say, I don't know. I don't think this is a supplement. I think what might be better is doing other services other than TC for an agent.
Yep.
That might not involve them. I don't know. I'm sorry. I feel like I've rambled in a circle, but I don't think it's possible.
Can I go back to your very first point? And
Please.
I think there was something there that I'm hearing, and I just want to bring a little clarity, or else you can tell me, no, that's not what I was thinking, is you're almost more questioning the concept of supplement. Because if their business is not doing well, supplement almost sounds like you're going to do this until your business comes back. And this would be an opportunity don't think of it as a supplement. You're trying to determine, maybe you do try this to determine if maybe this is the right fit for you. But that means that you're not going to end up being an agent if it is the right fit for you. Or it helps answer this wasn't the right fit for you. And you're able to test, okay, the agency was a better fit for me. Just almost the word supplement, because that's the word I hear a lot. Almost the word supplement is a misnomer of really what's happening here. And supplement also means I take on a few customers to supplement my income. How do I tell those customers I'm only keeping you as long as the market is low, but as soon as the market takes off again, I have no desire to keep serving you because this is just supplement. I don't know. The word supplement is part of what's kind of throwing my head a bit when I
agree with you. And I think the other part that kind of digs at me with that is that, well, this is just something easy to do until.
Okay.
And I will say to you, every gray hair in this head of mine came from this industry. So,
okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you spit your drink.
I almost spit my water when you said that. I wasn't ready.
Because it's not easy. It's good, right? But it's not easy. We have to work hard for the people to bring people on. We have to work hard to keep those people as clients. So to think like, well, I'm going to do this for a little while to supplement, to like see, I mean, I would spend that time building my real estate business if real estate was your passion. So sorry.
No, I absolutely love it. Amity, anything on that?
I think one of the things you said, Michelle, also was exploring other opportunities, in the industry. So that could look like that could look like offering marketing services. That's not going to touch clients. You could offer graphic designs and marketing services and create, an Etsy shop with things like that. Those are viable options that you could create. And then you can have that as a passive income when your business does take back off. But choosing to be a TC because you think that it's easy and it's an easy way to supplement your income because all your competitors are going to want to work with you for this short period of time, that doesn't sound like it would quite fit.
Y'all both said that so eloquently. Thank you.
All right. We seem to be seeing a number of real estate agents that have considered starting their own TC company to help supplement their income while the market is going through a shift. And it's been hard to generate business and income as an agent. What do you think about this one, Peter?
It's the word that bothers me the most is the word supplement. Like that just kept jumping out every time you said it.
Yep.
Honestly, I have actually reached out to agents on Facebook in my sphere, and they look like producing agents on their webpage, and I'm trying to get to know them. So maybe one day I get some business from them. And they're like, "Oh my God, I want to get into the TC business," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, great. That's amazing." So the truth is, I used to have strong opinions on it. Now I'm kind of like, I mean, if you can make it work, why not? I mean, I really don't see why not. I don't like the word supplement my income because that leads me to believe they think that you can make money overnight in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk a good talk and you talk a good talk and you get an agent to sign up and have nothing to back it up, you're not going to make it. You're just not going to make any money. You're just not. Agents, yeah. The other thing I heard in that question was, this is assuming they're going to get back into selling real estate one day. I strongly, and David knows this about me, I have licensed TCs, licensed meaning licensed realtors on my team, and non-licensed. If you're licensed, you can't be closing deals. It's amazing that you're licensed, but I cannot have agents in the markets we do business see a TC at the closing table. There's a huge conflict of interest there, huge. And the agents that we do business with, the majority of them recognize that. They see that. It's the agents who don't recognize that kind of worry me. Like, so I'm not trying to, but do I like the idea of in and out, or the idea of somebody thinking they can make easy money doing this? Not really, but I believe they can at first, but it's not going to last. These agents are going to see right through it. Right through it.
See right through what? That the person that's serving them is treating this as a supplemental temporary thing that they're eventually going to leave, or they will see right through what?
They'll see right through their inexperience and what a TC actually does, especially if that agent used to work with the TC.
Okay.
Like I said, and again, not that it can't be done. I just think it takes a super special person to be able to go from selling real estate to TC work overnight and showing real value to an agent. When I first started doing this, I was running broker compliance for a very, very, very low dollar fee.
Oh.
I thought that was TC work. And then I realized in time, it was actually Mr. Breckheimer here kind of yelling at me and said, "You're not going to make any money unless you start looking at lenders." And I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that." In my experience, most real estate agents can't even run their own transaction. What makes, I don't know.
Yeah. So only because you mentioned it,
Yes, please.
we had gone through that journey where you were doing, I'll call it more compliance work.
Yes.
Doing what true full TC was, but you were calling yourself TC.
Correct.
Okay. But really us discussing what a TC actually does. And here's what I will say is that you are just the perfect example of this question too, of an agent saying, I'm thinking about starting a business, but you weren't thinking about it supplemental. You took it very serious.
I took it, yeah, I was out.
You took it very serious that this was your thing. You were committed to this one thing. You were committed to growing this business, at least from what I saw. And that's what I got out of you when I first met you.
It wasn't until I realized when I first started doing it, I had it. Let me go back. I had a TC when I was selling.
Yeah.
She made sure I got paid on time, and like my paperwork got submitted.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. That's what I thought I would do. But then I think it wasn't until 3 or 4 months in that I started to realize there's money to be made here, and I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So I didn't go in with the mindset of expecting to make until I actually got into it and saw it. But I think a lot of people come into it today. I know I've had 2 phone calls so far this week from realtors locally that want TC work, and it breaks my heart to have to tell them that it's no different than generating business on the real estate side. You got to do that on this side too. I don't know if there is a magic TC company out there that has tons of business to give to transaction coordinators. You got to go out, and we got to go out and find it.
Yeah,
and it's not easy.
Amity, and I've been stealing this one for number 2, just because we've had these conversations and interaction, Peter, on this particular one for a while now. And so I would almost love to do a whole hour just on this topic with him. But Amity, what have you picked out so far that you want to point out?
So if you don't mind, if you could go a little deeper on the conflict of interest point, because I think that there's a misunderstanding from transaction coordinators and agents and where that conflict could come in. So if you could discuss that with us a little bit, that would be great.
Sure. So I like to use a different analogy that's not TC realtor. So I'm going to use realtor, but second realtor is also an insurance agent. Like I see this a lot in these brokerages. So let's say I'm a producing realtor and Amity, you're a realtor that also has your insurance license. I'm buddy with you in the brokerage, so I'm going to send you my buyers to get insurance quotes. I'm not saying you would do this, but let's say it's very easy for you to form a relationship with that buyer so that when their contract terminates, maybe they go to you because they realize your license. The point is I have access to my client's money maker, which is their database.
Mm-hmm.
So my company has a very strict non-disclosure, non-solicitation setup, and we take that very, very seriously. And the truth is, I've always believed in these situations, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, because I can sit here and say to you, I know there's TCs out there that sell real estate and run TC business. If it works for them, that's great. The truth is, in my opinion, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, that one of their clients ends up at the closing table with their TC. It's a matter of when, because in their mind, that's their client. Whether or not the client chose to work with either of them, if they talk to them first, we're not going down that road. We're just not. Also, I do believe it is impossible to give the level of service the agent deserves from their TC if you're producing and selling real estate. I just do not see it. My real estate clients, if I was still selling today, would be number one, not the agents on my roster.
Well
said. Sorry, I have very strong feelings on this. I really, really do. Now, that being said, TC's on my team. If you want to sell a unit here and there, have at it. But once a year, no one really sells on my immediate team at all. But no, not a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing your opinion on that, because I think there really is confusion about it, and I think you're right. Is that people don't go in thinking they're going to abscond with the information.
No, not at all.
It's never usually the original intent, but the temptation as human beings when you're hungry could lead you down that path. So I think that's a great point.
Sometimes I do think it's easier this is controversial too, it's easier to not be licensed in this industry. But I do recommend carrying a license, but a non-producing one at that. So.
Yep. Okay, awesome.
All right. So question number 2, this is coming from agents in the community. We seem to be seeing a number of real estate agents that have considered starting their own company to help supplement their income while the market is going through a shift, and it's been hard to generate business and income as an agent. What do you think about this topic, Michelle?
So, again, you're going to open a real estate support agency. No one said that you can't. And if you want to open up an additional stream of income to your business as a real estate professional and being part of this industry, do it. You don't need anyone's vote of confidence or thumbs up or approval to do this. Maybe your broker, let them know what you're doing, because it is within the same scope of industry that you're aligned in. But just remember to take off the hat. One time you're a realtor, the other time you're a business owner. And in that business, you're happy to be servicing the people in your community. I think that it's great. I always tell everybody, take your own assessments. Be very true about what you like to do. There's a reason you loved real estate sales. Do you also love being a supportive role? Do you love organizing? Do you love all the things that entails this role, if that's what you want to do? But again, you can also just open the business, hire the TCs, and create a stream of revenue where you are the operating manager, the director of ops of your agency, and you're doing the sales, the recruitment, and doing all the things for that business, except doing production, because it's not your highest calling or your zone of genius. But yes, you can open a business. Why not? There is still enough business for everyone. There's not enough TC agencies out there for all the agents that are in this industry now and the ones that are coming. Yeah. So to me, it's still the same question as the first one. Can I? Of course you can. Do you want to? You're the one that answers, because it's another business. You have the time for it. Are you available for it? And what do you want to do with it? You can create anything if you put your mind to it.
Okay. Amity?
Yeah, I mean, I think hitting that again and again and again, it's a business. It's a business, and you're building a business. And I love again that you are making it, you're framing it that you don't have to be the one who is the actual operator of the business. You can be the partner. You can be, you can be generating, doing the things that you're good at, operating in your zone of genius. And I think that's a great way to think about that. And also, again, not one that we have really heard that kind of response before. So I love it. I love it.
I'm going to go back to the first question, and I'm going to grab two statements that you said, because we're focusing on the fact that this is a business. The question is basically, do you want to open up another business? And I liked how you started. You said, take a personal assessment. You've got to determine if this is even the right business for you to start, whether this is a business you'll enjoy, all that kind of stuff. Okay. I loved your phrase, the personal assessment. But now I'm going back to your first answer, or question to the first answer. You said two phrases that hit me with this one. Number one, are you ready? Ask yourself, are you ready to start a business? Now, as a realtor, you already have a small business. Yeah. So now, going back to her first thing is, are you ready to start another business? Because this, okay, or add services to your existing. How are you going to do that? Are you ready to do that? Do you even want to do that? Second of all, is you said, starting a business requires your full dedication. Okay, so it is going to take a full dedication to run this as a business and to have a business that has any kind of longevity to it. So, so I think your consistency from answer 1 to 2, which is so interesting because there are two different audiences asking those questions. Yeah. One is people that are thinking about becoming TCs. The other ones are people that are already in this industry, but your answer didn't change for either side. Nope. I find that really interesting and good, consistent. Yeah. So, yeah. Anything else that either one of you want to add on top of that?
No, I'm good.
All right.
I would actually add, add in that understanding too. When you talked about the personal assessment, is understanding, that your skill set as a realtor might not translate to your skill set as a transaction coordinator. As a business owner, yes, maybe, but the skill set of actually performing the role is an important assessment to take for yourself. So I like that as well. All right.
For me, though, I'm going to add to that, because I've had agents reaching out to me. They want to either join my firm or help them open their own agency. And I ask the questions, how many files do you usually process on your own? Because they usually, I do my own files and I do great. I was like, yes, you do fantastic. You are giving yourself all the A+ and all the stars. But one thing is handling one deal. The other thing is handling 5. Yeah. What do you do when you have 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 on your desk? And that is where, I want to emphasize that is what you're looking at if you want to do production, if you want to be on the desk. because in order for you to, to make a livable wage in this day and age, you want to charge XYZ, I don't even know what the national average is anymore. They keep changing, but it's a couple $100 is usually what I hear for this type of work. In order for you to have an income that sustains you, you're going to be doing, double-digit files on your desk. Are you ready to handle that?
Yeah.
And if not, are you ready to hire someone that will do that part and pay them well for it while you're also doing your part as a business owner? So those are the opportunities that are available, but you do have to think about when you're taking that self-assessment.
Yeah.
Be honest with yourself of how many checklists do you really want to be looking at if you want to run the desk.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great.
And I'm going to be honest with you again, is a lot of this is taking a direct quote from the questions as we see them, but there's two different directions that we're getting this question. We do see some of these questions in the Facebook transaction coordinator groups. And I say that, and this morning I woke up and there was this exact same question was in one of the real estate groups. It's actually one of the nation's largest real estate Facebook groups. An agent asked this, but the second way that I get this question is direct messages, because agents may not want to reveal themselves and where they stand on this issue within the groups. So it's interesting. I saw an agent actually bring this up in the real estate groups today. I've seen people bring it up in TC groups, and then I've seen people that just want a little bit more privacy and try to have a direct conversation with someone because they don't want to reveal that their volume is struggling for them or their business. So agents, we seem to be seeing a number of real estate agents that have considered starting their own TC company, quotations, to help supplement my income while the market is going through a shift. And it's been hard to generate business and income as an agent. So usually I'm hearing the word supplement in there. Another word I'm hearing, and I could pull the book out behind me, shift, all in capitals. And then from there is, it's been hard to generate business and income as an agent. So what would you have to share with them?
So yeah, I mean, they have to do what they need to do for their family and for themselves, right? To earn income. Again, I think that an agent is a great person to know how to TC. Are they always the best at actually doing it and following it through, like on a massive scale? Depends on the personality of the agent, right? I think the normal profile is probably your DEI profile, but I'm talking about the DISC behavioral profiles, right? And so, but there are a lot of agents who are your type A, your SC, who are really into the details, which, side note, that may be hurting your production because you like to be in the details, right? But that's another topic if you want to get out. Yeah, I mean, look, thinking about what I'm building, one, I'm very competitive, but I also play nice with others, right? So I can be competitive and be a good competitor, right? So I'm out for the business. I want the business. I want all the transactions I can get. Can I do them all? No. So there's really no point in me being upset if somebody's going to, in my, sphere, I'm seeing, well, these agents are starting their own, or they're being transaction coordinators and taking business from me. It's not really a good use of time to think that way. And again, what right do I have to tell an agent that they shouldn't be doing that? I think they have the experience if they've done transactions themselves, right? And if they want to do it on the side, or they want to quit selling and go start a business like I did, go for it, right? I think it's very simple. I mean, why not?
Amity, what did you want to pull out of that?
So, first of all, I love talking about the DISC and transaction coordinators versus agents. I think that's one of my favorite distinctions, is the personality types of successful people in either industry and where they fall and the personality test. So I love that you brought that up because I believe it resonates with me that a successful agent isn't necessarily a successful transaction coordinator. or vice versa. I personally was a horrible agent, but I think I'm pretty good at it as a transaction coordinator and business owner. So that is that piece really resonates with me. And then that again, who am I to tell you? You've got you being an agent, you almost have a leg up in getting into the back end side of it, because you do have the basis of the knowledge of the contract versus not knowing anything, and that's going to give you a leg. And absolutely go for it.
I think that what we're really trying to convey when we as transaction coordinators see that, and maybe there's this visceral reaction to it, I think it's more of, don't come in here and muck it up. Right? Like, if you're going to do it well. If you're, and so I think it's the same thing in any industry, right? If you have those who are true professionals and they take pride in what they do and they're out to provide and deliver amazing service, then that bodes well for the industry that they're in. Those that don't, and they're just coming in, coming out, and maybe they, just kind of tarnish the reputation a little bit in the industry, so that when I do go to consult with a potential client, they're like, well, I had this transaction coordinator one time and they were and so I think it's not so much that those that are against it or speak out about it negatively, I don't think that's what they really mean. I think they mean don't muck it up.
So
love that.
Okay, don't muck it out, coming in, coming out. So a lot of times I talk about, there are certain things that are triggering words. I use the word trigger a lot, okay?
Yeah.
And I think the word that I'm hearing a lot in those questions is the word supplement.
Mm-hmm.
While my business is struggling. And I think that can give the industry an indication that you're not giving us an impression that you're excited about opening this business and then you're excited about this being a long-term thing. So the impression that you said, we don't want you coming in, coming out. We don't want you to come in knowing this really isn't what you're devoted to. And you're just going to be in for a little while. And you have a chance of mucking it up if you're just in there just to make a couple bucks until things are good again. So the word supplement almost helps someone give that tone of, I'm having a hard time answering this because it feels like you're not really truly committed to this. You're just planning on doing this for a little while. Well, it's good for you.
Yeah.
But you're not looking at what's good for the industry, not looking at what this as a long-term thing. We don't feel that you're quite part of the family.
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah, that's, I will say, like, what comes to mind is, I'm not going to hire someone who tells me that.
Yes.
Not because they may not, but like, I'm going to recommend that they just take on a couple agents in their office who need help. That's supplement. Like, if you are a solo TC, you make a lot more than an employed TC. Let's be real about that, right? But you're also the one doing all the things. So you're a solo TC, but you're in charge of sales and onboarding and client retention, and you got to do the service. And guess what? You're in charge of complaints and billing and bookkeeping and taxes and all those things, right? And so you should get paid more. And so I would say that, like, an agent who's looking to supplement their income, no problem with that. You have again, why would I have a problem with that? I don't have a right to have a problem with that. What I'm not going to do, though, is like put you in touch with this company or hire you for my company. Like, no, just be in your office, grab a couple of agents that need, maybe they want to share an assistant, and go for it, right? But I'm not going to spend my time in the groups. I'm certainly not going to help train you, like, not because I don't care about you, but this is not something that you're making a career. It's a side hustle, and we've all been there. I mean, we've all needed to make extra income, before, I'm sure. And so again, when you talk about, do they have the right, or do we think it's a good idea? That's not really up to me, right? What is up to me is to protect my interest, and then just tell the truth, right? Whatever your question is, like, okay, sure, go do that. Just don't do it here. I'm not going to hire you to just supplementing your income.
Okay. And I will ask the last question, but before I do that, I do want to say I loved one other thing that you did point out is you can be competitive and so on and so forth. But the fact is, you already know you are not going to be doing everybody's transaction in the entire country. Doesn't mean that you won't end up doing transactions in every state, but you're still not doing every transaction in every state. In other words, there is business out there.
Even in this market,
there's enough business out there.
I mean, yeah, and you're going to go from 6 million homes to 4 million homes, right? Okay, there's still 4 million.
4 million homes.
Two sides.
Right.
Like that's 8 million sides. Like,
yeah, right?
Yeah. So we're going to be okay.
And I wanted to point that out because that was also, that point was made by someone else in another video, that here's the thing is anybody who is scared that there's just not enough business out there and they're afraid of more people entering this industry, don't get it. There's plenty of business out there. And so I wanted to point that out. It was almost more of a passing statement that you made, but I wanted to point out that you're saying there is business out there. There really is. Okay.
All right. So I think everybody knows that we're seeing a big shift in the market and the real estate market. There's a lot of things that are happening in our industry. Daily, we're seeing posts from real estate agents that are thinking of ways to change their business, how they can still stay in the real estate industry, or if they need to exit it completely. I would love to hear your thoughts, Nicole, on the agent that is thinking about starting their own TC company as a way to supplement their income during the shift, and generate business and income. So tell me what you think about people who are exploring that idea.
Yeah, totally. And something that I as well. So again, very, very needed. This is a very multifaceted answer. I think there's a lot of it depends in my response. First know that, my perspective is from someone who I have 10 years of experience in real estate, but I have never held a real estate license. So to keep that in mind, right? In my anecdotal experience, great agents rarely make great TCs. I'm not going to say never, because I actually have somebody on my team who is she is a managing broker. She's an amazing TC and she is still in sales. However, she uses selling real estate to supplement her TC income, not the other way around. She hates the selling side of it. That's why she doesn't want to start her own TC business. She really enjoys the paperwork side, but likes the income bump of selling a house to friends or family every couple months, right? So it boils down to, as an agent, my first question again is why? Why is your real estate business suffering, and why are you considering starting a TC business? If your real estate business is suffering because you're doing a poor job of getting yourself out there and letting people know what your skills and your area of expertise are and finding clients, why do you think that starting a TC business would be any easier? Because it's a lot of overlapping skill, in my opinion, there, right? If you need to get yourself out there and build your business, that's exactly what you're going to have to do if you start a TC company. I do think that there are agents who have realized that they don't enjoy being an agent. They don't like that liability on their side. They love the real estate process, but they really don't like sometimes the drama that we've seen over the past couple of years, or the massive liability that we've seen. And they want to stay in the business. They want to feel relevant, but they don't want to be in sales. And they really enjoy the details of real estate. These are the agents that are typically they've never been super high volume in their career. Maybe they always have closed no more than 1 or 2 houses a month. I think they have the highest potential of enjoying and creating a successful TC business. But a lot of agents that were successful, especially in the boom that we saw over the last couple of years, I think that they're wanting to branch out into TC because they've realized that something in their business is not working, not because they don't want to be a real estate agent anymore, if that makes sense. And I think that's where it's like, you really need to dig down into why are you considering this? Is this really the best place for you to be putting your energy? Or maybe you should be focusing your energy on, your referral network, or, something else, another source of business for your sales income, as opposed to branching out into something that arguably you may or may not be any good at.
Okay, so you just said something that almost takes me back to the first thing you said on the last one, which I love, because there's
I'm always going to
consistency
ask
there.
why.
There's consistency there.
Yeah.
Okay. Multiple consistency. You started with why again.
Yeah.
And then you really distinguished, and I'm going to say you really separated what you were talking about. You're not talking about TCs now. You're talking about being a small business owner. So whether you're going to be a small business owner as a TC or a small business owner as an agent, there is something that is so similar to both in the sense that you both have to do business development, otherwise known as a phrase that we hate, lead generation.
Yes.
Okay. You need customers. And if the reason why you are getting out of real estate is because your volume is low, because maybe you have a problem with lead generation, but you think this will solve that, that might not actually be the case. But you're still talking about the fact that these are small business owners. Now, if you're coming into this business and you said, go back to the why, maybe one of the whys is you are more suited to be a TC. That still doesn't say that starting a small business, you could still become a TC and not be becoming a small business owner.
Absolutely.
A lot of this very much lines up with how you kind of answered the first question, because a lot of those things still exist in this to help answer this question for agents, unless I'm hearing you wrong, but that's kind of what I was
No,
thinking.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think you just articulated it pretty clearly. Like there's, you have to get into the reason why you're even considering these. And so many people have so many different answers to that question. But at the end of the day, there is such a big difference between being a TC and being a small business owner with a TC business. You know, and so you absolutely have to differentiate between that in your why. It always comes back to why.
Amity, what did you hear in there?
Yeah, I love the why. I love the why question, because I do think that that's incredibly important. And I think that, and the understanding your personality type and understanding the skill set that your personality type probably brings with it compared to a TC's skill set and personality type, those may not overlap. I'm one of those licensed agents. I was a licensed agent in Colorado. I operated for a year. I was really bad at it, but I was really bad at it. But I realized I loved the contracts and I loved the people and I love the networking. I've talked about this and other things that I've done, is that I've never had a problem with networking and creating relationships with other agents and vendor partners. My issue was always with customers, like the cold people, you know, the clients, the people who wanted to buy. So I had never, it was a natural transition for me to go into working with my skill set and then also being able to still network and use my relationships to get clients. And that's one thing that I think that many agents are missing, is understanding that if they're not a great real estate agent, you might not be a really great TC, even if you love paperwork.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nicole, I'm going to push you a little bit deeper.
Okay.
And if it's okay for you to say, you know what, I may have an opinion on that, but I'd rather not answer here until I have time to think on that. Let's go to number 3. I'm totally fine with that too.
Okay.
But I'm going to push that question a little bit farther, because number one, not only do we see this question a lot in the groups, the TC Facebook groups and stuff, which are amazing. They're amazing resource. And I would tell every independent TC to get in those groups. But I will say this, being a real estate coach and a TC coach, I get it outside of the group where I get it. And I'm going to give one different way I hear this question. And I think they don't want to ask this question in public in a group. So I'm going to just say how I get it personally. Hey, David, I'm struggling a bit in my real estate business, and what I'm thinking about doing, they think this is the answer and the solution. They just want to know how to do it. Is what I'd like to do is I'd like to do some TC work to supplement my income until the market comes back.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're assuming I'm not planning on not being an agent. I'm not planning on leaving that, starting a TC business. And that is my new primary focus. But it would really help me to supplement my income until my real estate business is back to where I want to be. Now, I can see why they may not want to post that publicly.
Yeah.
But I get that a lot.
Yeah.
What's your feeling on that?
Absolutely. So I definitely have some thoughts on that. Number one, you're wanting to TC in the same market that you are currently trying to sell in. Not everybody, but I can tell you there are absolutely some agents who would say, absolutely not, you're my competition. Why would I have you be a TC? So that would be my first thought, is if that's something that you wanted to do to supplement your income. If I were in that position, I would be like, I need a TC in a different market than what I'm currently selling in, right? Like,
just to bring clarity to that, is if you are a TC and you own a TC business, you have to find clients. Those clients are agents. Now, you are not being a TC for yourself, you're being a TC for agents that are out there producing volume. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be my first thought, is you will absolutely hear that objection and probably hear it a lot. And of course you would have to have something in your service agreement, some sort of, non-solicit or something, but that's not enough for some agents. They don't like the idea that you're actively selling in the same market as them and potentially doing a better job with their clients than they are, right? I mean, I know for a fact in our business that we have had buyers and sellers reach out to us post-closing with questions about the house. They're not reaching out to their agent, they're reaching out to us, right? Well, we don't actively sell. Obviously it's not an issue. Of course, we do the ethical thing. We bring the agent in immediately and let them know. But how does the agent feel? How does that buyer or seller's agent, of course, they should be better at their job and be better with their clients, but that's beside the point. How does that agent feel if their TC, who is also actively selling, is the one that's getting the call from their buyer or seller post-closing? So it's just something that you definitely have to keep in mind. That's an objection that will absolutely come up. But also, you're wanting to supplement your income with TC work. Have you looked at how much a TC makes versus how much an agent makes on one sale? As an agent, what systems do you have? How many files do you think you can actually carry as an agent while also trying to be an active real estate agent? If you say you can only carry like 5, maybe 10 files, a month, that's not really gonna replace your real estate or even necessarily supplement it all that much. Is that really worth the effort for you? Or should you just be, again, focusing on sales in your real estate business?
And the effort, you just mentioned effort. The effort is not only working files, it's running a small business, which has a lot of things. I'm going back to this is a small business. So part of that small business is lead gen. Part of that is setting it up as a legal business. Some of it is so much more than just running a file.
Systems, checklists, all of that, right? And if you're just trying to get into that and just jump in and do it, well, you're setting yourself up to kind of crash and burn, in my opinion. So it's very difficult. There's a lot to consider, and I don't think it's a good option for most agents that are just wanting to supplement their income.
And I'll wait till our video, Amity, before I give my opinion of how I answer that to the agents, but I love that. So I really wanted to get your perspective on that too. I'm having a hard time, not like, let's all have this conversation. So I really appreciate you, Nicole.
Absolutely.
Okay. This is the agent, so I'll read the question. We seem to be seeing a number of real estate agents that have considered starting their own TC business to help supplement their income while the market is going through a shift. And it's been hard to generate business and income as an agent. So we see this in groups. I've seen it in TC groups. Agents go in there and they ask questions. Okay, what do you think about starting a TC business as an agent, as a supplemental income, blah, 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 blah. I've seen it in real estate agent groups. But I get it more as a direct message to me because I get it. They want to keep the fact private that their business isn't doing as well as they would like to. They're embarrassed about it. Want to make this a private conversation. So that's fine. What's your take on that?
So the first thing that I take on it is that the agents that are asking that question are not asking about necessarily building a TC business.
Okay.
What they're asking is, can they get into TC, take on a few files to float them for a few months?
Okay.
That's what I observe when I see those questions, what they're really asking, because in most instances I don't see that agent saying, I'm going to have, now I'm talking about individual agents. I'm not talking about team leads or team brokerages that are looking to expand, like the expansion teams. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm seeing those questions typically from an individual agent who is struggling in today's market, selling houses, and they're looking for alternatives so that they can keep going. So I would say in those instances, if you're a single agent and you need to pick up some money because you need to pay your mortgage, you don't want to go back to working a retail job or an office job, can you do this? If you have a good network and you have people in there that trust you, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. If you have those people who are willing to throw you a couple of files because of the relationships that you've developed over the years, can it float you for a little bit? Maybe. It depends on how many files, depends on what you're doing, how many, those things, because we talked about this before. We're not talking about that TCs make thousands of dollars per transaction. Some markets it's under $300. Some markets it's, a little bit more. Some it is not. If you're only doing 2 or 3 files a month, is that enough to maybe help you buy groceries? Yes, that probably is enough. But is it enough to have a business? No, I would say no. You can't have 2 separate focuses. And the reason why I bring up about trusting you is that what we hear a lot from agents, and we hear this in the communities about agents who have concerns about working with licensed transaction coordinators. In particular, if those licensed transaction coordinators are still selling houses. If it's in referral status, there's probably a little bit more comfort there if their license is there. But if they're an active agent, there is concern on the other agent side of loss of security and their conflict of interest, loss of security in their data, someone taking their systems, their proprietary ideas. We know agents are very protective about their information. We have huge teams where we know that they have powerful CRMs that can do so much to help them, and they refuse to put their leads in the CRMs because they don't want to lose their data and take the risk that their broker or their team lead is going to know who their lead is. I mean, that the leads, the customer base, the database is the most powerful asset that an agent has, and they are very protective of it. And so that's why the trust is incredibly important if you're going to be a licensed agent working with another licensed agent, and this is not your full-time job.
And let's call it out, is you may be, and I mean this at the highest level, I'm not, you could be the most ethical person in the industry, and you have no intention on stealing anybody's database, anybody's client, anything else like that. But let's also assume you're good people and people like you. Okay, here's what you can't control. You do an amazing job for that agent. You help their buyer and seller. Eventually, that buyer and seller, through that process, get to know you as well. You may have zero, and I mean literally zero, intention, and you even have ways to steer them back to the client all the time. Okay? but they may actually enjoy working with you more than they do that agent. Okay. So now all of a sudden they're working with both of you. They close the transaction. That agent got his client, closed it, everything else like that, but they have referrals and they know you're licensed. And so now they're sending the referrals to you because they're like, gosh, to be honest, we got more help from you and we enjoyed working with you more. And if we're going to send some of our friends to someone, we're sending them to you. You don't want any of that. Okay. But they are sending them to you. Okay. Here's the other thing. All of a sudden, 3 years from now, they're looking to buy and sell again. They've got to sell their place and buy another place. And who would they rather work with? Okay. So you may have zero intention on taking anybody's client. It's not always up to you. It's not about you going after them. Assuming you're any good at what you do and you're a likable person, there's going to be some people that just would rather do business with you than who their agent was. Okay. As an agent, that's a conflict of interest on every level. Okay. Yes. They have every right as an agent to be concerned about their database. And they have every right to say, you know what? I do want a TC, but it ain't going to be you. Okay. If you are talking about doing this, because the key word that we're hearing in these questions are, what do you think? I mean, the business is low for me and I'm thinking about supplement. What does supplement mean? Are you talking about closing your real estate business and building this as a separate business? This is your thing now. So now there's no conflict of interest because you never have an intention when the business picks back up again on taking buyers and sellers and everything else like that. You have zero intention on going back to that. This is your thing now. But if you're doing this and taking a file here and there and everything else like that, and all of a sudden your business picks back up and everybody knows that that's what your real goal is to have a beautiful, profitable, long-sustaining real estate business as an agent, I don't know that I'd be giving my business to you as a TC either. I mean, it's just honest. The other thing that did come up is, and I would say, I think all 5 of them brought it up in one way or another, and that is this: asking yourself why. Okay, why is your business not producing the way that you want it to? Now, there may be multiple reasons why, but we're just going to call out one for this particular because it ran through most of our guests, okay? Which is this: lead gen. Okay, lead gen may not be your favorite thing. It may not be your strength. It may not be where you have built the best part of your business. If you are going to start a small TC business, number one thing that you're going to need to make that work is customers. You have to have customers. Okay? You are not leaving one business where you're struggling with lead gen and going to another one that the lead gen is easier, that the lead gen is more of a given, that the lead gen, any of that kind of stuff. You might be able to create a profitable business by closing 2 people a month on the real estate side, but you might have to be working with 15, 20, 30 agents a month over here. Well, you've got to build up those 20, 30 agents over here, okay? It's still lead gen. So if the reason why your business is not succeeding is because of lead gen, it will not solve itself by going from this role in the industry to this role. Yes. You literally are trading one for the other. And I would say, Mr. Positive over here, that one's a hard pass for me to be positive. That if lead gen is where you struggle, I would say, do you really want to stay in the industry? Okay. Get some coaching on that, get some helping on that, get some training on that, because I don't care what side you go on. If that's a struggle, you need help on that. Because if you can't develop business, you're a small business owner.
Yep.
That is required. Okay. So that came up with a lot of people as well.
It did come up a lot.
Anything else that you want to say? That we talked about conflict of interest. We talked about why the TC versus real estate. We talked about the lead gen side of it. Anything else?
I think we covered everything. Actually, one other thing. Michelle Martinez said this. She said, "Is your broker okay with that?"
100%.
You know, that's also an important question. Yes, you are an independent contractor, but there are some rules state to state, broker to broker. So there are some legality questions, policy questions that you also have to answer if you're going to go down that path.
If you're an agent and you haven't gone out and gotten your own broker's license, as an agent, you have a broker holding your license. They definitely have a bit of a say in a bit of what you do. Okay. You don't represent yourself. You technically represent the broker that is holding your license. Now, if some of the services that you are providing, this would become a long video. I'm not even going to go down all that.
Yeah.
Talk to your broker. Okay. And what they did say was, this came up a couple times. Michelle brought it up. A couple people brought it up. And one of the times, one of the words that came up was transparency. Just be willing to be transparent. Don't try to do something on the side and hope that it's okay, or assume that you know that it's okay. Well, if you know so well that it's okay, then why wouldn't you want to?
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
That would confuse me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely.
And that wraps up another episode of the TC Exchange podcast. Thank you so much for joining me and being a part of this incredible journey through the world of transaction coordination. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to learn, and together, we're setting the compass to true north. If you want to dive deeper into the world of TCs or simply connect with our growing community, follow us on Instagram at TrueNorthTCT. For exclusive content, insights, and engaging discussions, be sure to join our Facebook group, the TC Exchange. And for resources, courses, and a treasure trove of knowledge, check out our website at TrueNorthTransactionServices.com. Keep the conversations going, share your insights, and until next time, keep your compass pointing true north. See you soon.